Hey guys, we're doing a Moto Academy ride day, first ever Moto Academy ride day, Tomahawk MX in West Virginia, October 29th, Sunday, October 29th. Moto Academy members, if you're subscribed inside of the app, you ride for free. So come join us, October 29th, Tomahawk MX, Moto Academy ride day.
There's no coming back. Like when you're in that mud like that, you kind of just go where it takes you.
Yeah.
You can't really correct. But it was, yeah, I didn't like the tree.
No.
The tree was all bad. Trees and it was probably, man, it might have been a foot deep mud, just slop. Not that much fun. Definitely, yeah, not that much. At my age, it's not that much fun.
No, it's fun when if you had a watch and you just set your watch to 20 or 30 minutes and you said, all right, I'm going to go out and just kind of flow a moto. Yeah. The first 10 minutes of that moto are going to be bad. And then, at least for me, eventually it starts to click.
Yeah.
And you can start to kind of form your own lines, kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, when there's other guys out there, they'll mess your lines up. But then you learn to ride it.
Yeah.
Nobody really rides mud super often unless you're like Carson Brown that just rides in the mud every single day.
That's all he does. Yeah.
But me, I ride mud once every other year. Yeah. And when you go out and you find the flow, then you remember how to ride it and just let the bike do its thing. Like when you asked, how do you learn? There was that slippery jump face that was forming that kicker,
yes,
the one that you crashed on. And you have to let the bike get kicked.
Yeah, that's hard to learn.
Yeah.
Because nothing about the bike kicking around feels right. That's scary.
You did it a lot yesterday. Whether it be intentional or not intentional. I saw a whole lot of kicking going on. Mm-hmm. But you didn't seem to care, which is good.
Yeah.
You just keep your head forward and your hips would stay in the right position and your bike was just doing this the whole time, which is totally fine.
I was impressed. I really was impressed. We made that first lap when I got behind him. I was just riding. I was like, I'll just ride behind him a little while. And I could see the mud, right? I could see the mud ahead. I was like, oh, I'm going to have to pick him up. And dude, he just smooth, just stayed on the throttle. Mm-hmm. No, like whap, whap, whap. Just, okay, Mr. Brevin.
Yeah.
Okay,
that's why it was so deceiving because I was like, oh, it's fine.
Yeah.
Just based on how smooth it was
not fine, my guy.
And then I got out there and I was like, what this is horrible.
No. Like going up the faces of jump, you had to be like really controlled on the throttle. It was not easy. Good practice.
Great practice. And that's, talk about mindset. Riding conditions like that is all mindset.
Yeah.
Because you could hate it or you could decide that you're going to love it and just decide that, yes, it's difficult, whatever, but figure out like what's causing the bike to do certain things or figure out how do I hit this turn the right way and just forget the fact that, or accept the fact that you're going to make mistakes like crazy and you're not the only one that's doing it. I mean, if you watch me ride out there, it certainly felt equally as sloppy as everybody else looked.
Yeah.
But I was just really fixated on just trying to diagnose, like when something would happen, I always make a game and just try to figure out like, okay, why did that happen?
Yeah.
So that next time I come around, I could just try to fix that one thing.
That's one thing that I've learned just watching the motocross community is everybody complains about track conditions. It is my pet peeve. Coming from my world where I fish, obviously, for a living. I guess the people watching don't know that.
We should definitely probably talk about that.
So it doesn't matter if it snows, if it's cold, if it's hot, if it's 90, outside of lightning or wind, just wind. If it's wind, we used to go out in anything, you go. It doesn't matter. It does not matter how bad the conditions are. So I'm used to, if it's raining or if it's wet, you got to learn how to do it there. If it's dry and it's hot, then you just got to learn how to do it that. And that's one thing I've noticed is that in the motocross community, it's like, is the track, this first thing everybody says, is the track good today? What is good? Like, nobody rides it for what it is. Okay, today the track is wet. We will learn how to ride when it's wet. Today the track is dry. Let's learn how to ride when it's dry. And like that mindset, like you said, I wish you saw that more at a younger age because obviously I would doubt, I'm sure Racing Pro, you could confirm this, it's probably almost never perfect.
No.
So like, why would you worry about it being good? Why would you want to just practice when it's good?
And perfect is completely up to the individual to decide whether it's perfect or not.
Exactly.
Yeah, it just, that's there's different levels of thinking, and that's one that I've really tried to get past. And I was that person all day long.
Yeah.
I was a fair weather rider, is what everybody would joke around and call us.
Good today. It's good.
It was just because a lot of the reason was we were on a very, very tight budget, and so if it was wet, my dad didn't let me ride because we couldn't afford to break the bikes or to wear parts out. Yeah. So if it was raining, we weren't riding.
Yeah. Well, break it, son. That's all I can do. Break it. We're so deep in it at this point, it doesn't matter anymore.
Well, and look at the guys that you could tell did practice it when they were young and have a different attitude towards it. Like you said Plessinger is one of your favorites. Look at Plessinger when it rains and when it's muddy.
Yeah.
That dude, he lights up.
Yeah.
He's like, all right, sweet, bring it on.
Fortunately, like where we train at, it's GNCC riders. Yep. They're all GNCC guys. So anytime it's unfavorable conditions, we train at Stu Baylor's facility.
Is he still racing?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because he got hurt really bad,
yeah,
right?
he just won like 2 weekends ago.
Oh, he did?
But that was one of the things I was impressed with. We would go to camps on the weekends, and it would be cold, rainy, nasty. I would see him and a buddy go off in the woods, and they wouldn't come back until the end of the day. I was like totally impressed with how they don't care if it's wet, dry, hard pack, slick. They don't care.
Have you done any off-road riding with them yet?
No, we haven't.
Dude, we've had like a woods track. It's like a motocross track in the woods,
Mm-hmm.
and they would like. So they would bring the equipment down. They'd till it. They would make like They would make like doubles and berms.
It's
and,
cool, dude.
Yeah,
That's cool.
I
But no
can go
woods
at
riding
least-
just yet.
No,
Like official
not
woods riding.
like.
Do you not
all
really have
woods.
that around you?
I don't know about it. Let's say it that way. I don't know where those places to ride are yet. There's so many places to ride where I live. We haven't even rode all the motocross tracks within an hour of our house yet.
You guys are lucky in that sense.
Yeah.
You have a lot. But if you get an opportunity, if it hadn't have rained so much today, and I just don't have good bike options for the woods either at the moment, but it's awesome.
I want to try
It's
it.
Great practice. I went in with a group of guys a couple of weeks ago. I don't know if I've talked about this on the podcast yet or not. And I was on driver Jamie's banana bike, his 450. Just got thrown to the wolves. These guys were like 8 or 9 pro level woods guys, and they knew the trails. And we jump in, and on top of that, they're trying to prove to me probably how good they are.
Yeah.
So it was just like a perfect storm of let's make AJ look bad here.
Ego and they're good.
So
Yeah.
I'm just like hanging on for dear life, trying to stay with these guys and keep them in sight. And they stop to take their first break, which took way
2
too
hours?
long to take
2
their
hours?
first break.
Yeah, 2 hours.
Like, I'm like, all right, we're gonna stop here. Like 3 minutes in, I'm like, all right, we're gonna stop.
No.
Right? No. 15 minutes goes by, 30 minutes goes by. I'm like, we're still
Probably
going.
an hour or so.
And finally we stop. And I go, guys, do you have any idea? This is so much more difficult than Supercross.
Yeah.
You guys don't even understand.
That's one thing I definitely say. Like even some of our motocross, like the jungle that we're practicing in, I'm thinking, how in the world do they do this for 2 hours at a time? It is so intimidating. There's ruts, there's roots, there's we talk about on a motocross track how it changes after lap, but like the course is so long, I don't know how you even remember.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how they remember the turns. I'm actually more impressed with GNCC guys than I am motocross guys. It seems super intimidating to me. It gets really deep. I think they have more bikes.
When you're talking variables, there's a lot of variables in motocross and supercross, but there's way more, I think, in the wood stuff.
Like they would have rode today. Like how it rained here today.
Yeah.
They would have been like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean? They would have rode.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Caleb, Caleb?
Yeah,
he did good.
He's good at mud.
One of, I think that's Stu's cousin.
I think. So.
Anyway, he made Loretta's. You remember it was mud race this year.
Yeah.
Finished third.
He got third and first in one of his classes.
Yeah, third and first. Mainly the rain. Because when he went rain, he was like,
Totally.
here we go. Yeah.
And if you could ride that, like yesterday, that's why I was pushing you to ride that 85 as much as you were. Because if you can figure out how to do things in the mud, you're going to get back home and ride next week at some point, and you're going to be like, oh man, hopefully you feel like a totally different person. Your confidence should just, do this. Because you gained a lot of confidence on that 85 yesterday in very difficult conditions.
It definitely
you were
exposes
jumping
you.
far, like you were smooth, consistent, going back and forth between the bikes a lot. Which
that's hard.
So Brevin is right. You're 11.
Yeah, I'm 11.
So that's right at the age where you're going in between a 65 and 85.
Yeah.
That's hard to do. 85 and super mini is kind of difficult to do, but 65 and
imagine.
85 is way harder.
Yeah.
Way harder. You're in different gear everywhere. The wheelbase is completely different.
The hardest part for me is being higher up on the ground because I'm shorter. And so I can't like fully touch the ground. I have to be like this the whole time.
And does that make it scarier when you ride?
A little bit.
In the mud, did it make it more scary?
Yeah. Especially when I have to go like lean it over in the ruts, it feels like I'm so much higher above the ground.
You'll get past that quickly because what's good, and I kept telling you this yesterday, doesn't matter how high off the ground. You don't need to touch the ground.
Yeah.
That's the good part. You don't need to touch the ground until you stop. And when you stop, just be strategic about where you place the bike so you don't tip over. But when you're riding, you don't have to touch the ground.
I try to usually put like the front wheel in like a dip or something.
Yep. Or find like an incline or a
Yeah.
hill, or it's so fun. When we have classes and kids are small on their bikes,
Yeah.
there's zero
falling.
thought that's put into where they stop.
They stop on top
they
of
just,
a berm. Yep. All the time.
And I'm like, think about what you're
Yeah,
doing.
yeah. All the time they just fall. We call them ghosts. Somebody just pushes them over. Ghost at practice.
Just on the start line, just tip over.
Like when there's nothing to put my foot on, and then I put my foot down, and I start to get like a cramp in my leg, and then
that's the worst.
and then I have to like jump
Yep.
over to the other side.
Yep.
To,
I'm like, that's why
not fun.
that's why you got to drink Element.
Now we go right into Element. Let's go right into Element commercial now.
If you guys enjoyed this podcast clip and you want to listen to full episodes, go download them. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and I think that's it. Go download them there. Give them a listen. If you want to watch full episodes, which I tell you what, it's even better to do that. Go to club.themotoacademy.com because Moto Academy subscribers inside of the app have exclusive access to watch the entire episodes. And not only that, the subscribers actually can send in their questions to be answered on the podcast as well. Club.themotoacademy.com. Go subscribe.